So this is the lesson 70 controlling an RGB LED with PyQt assignment. This is the Thani program. It's very similar to what we did in the lesson. Obviously, instead of just changing the label, I added some actions for setting data that would get sent, and then I added a my data function or send data function up here, which will send all the data from the different functions as we go. I also added these commands so that if a button is pushed and one of the toggle buttons is toggled, it untoggles it so that it's available to be toggled on again. And then the other thing I did different from the lesson was adding a off button, which is on the third row, and it just would turn all the LEDs off. Scroll down through it slowly one more time, just so that I think I jumped around probably a little bit there. And now I'll run it, and I'm not sure if the window, I don't know if you actually see that or not, but I'll start another video to show that to you. This is the Arduino program for the lesson 70 assignment. Again, it's very much based on the program we created. Set the pins for the RGB LED, create some integers for their values, and then here's the connecting to Wi-Fi section. The split string is pretty much the exact function that we created in the previous lesson. And then in the void loop, once I get the incoming data split, I call a few other functions that I created, which are to set the RGB values, which is here. It just runs through some if statements to set our green or blue or off based on the commands received. And then there's a write the RGBs, which if the RGBs are just on, it just turns them on based on the value, or off if the RGB assigned was 0. And then the blink LED function here just again takes the RGB values and blinks them on and off for 5 times. One thing I tried to do was to just have the LED blink continuously until additional UDP data was received. I put this if UDP parse packet equals 0 in there in a while loop to have it blink until something else. I figured when something else came through that while loop, it would kick out of that while loop and then come back here, which it did the first time, but then it kind of froze the UDP server. I couldn't get it to be responsive without resetting it again, despite several tries. So for this lesson, I moved on. I think if I wanted to do that, I would have to make a counter and turn the blinking off based on one of these other functions or if statements. But I didn't dive into that any further for this lesson. But I was curious why that didn't work. Okay, I will get out on my phone and show you the actual program working now. So this is the window that comes up when you run the Thani program. So you can see the different LEDs come on. If you click one toggle button, the other one that was activated goes off. The blink blues, if you click that, the toggle buttons that were activated also go off, so they'd be available to toggle on again instead of having to be on the off state. And then this is the off button that just turns everything off and resets all the buttons. So here's the circuit. It's just a basic RGB circuit we've used many times. I have it disconnected and using the power supply, so there's nothing connected to it. So obviously we're not going to get anything over the serial port. But here's the program. I'm actually going to make it bigger. Maybe we can, I guess you can't read the buttons any better. It's worse. So I'll push blink red and come back and show you that it's blinked red. I'll push it again just so you can see it blink red. And then I'll say toggle green. You can see the toggle green is up there. If I push toggle blue, you can see the toggle green button went off. The toggle blue button, RGB is blue. And then if I come back, I can push toggle green again, and it was reset. So now it's available to come on. Toggle red, blink red, blink green, blink blue. If you toggle the blue on and then come back up here, and if I push the off button, it will just turn it off. Toggle red, and then if you touch the off button, just turn it off. So that's the program. Thanks for these lessons.